Good day, South Africa. Last week Wednesday's energy price increase has served as a detrimental blow to the wallets of South African citizens who all rely on petrol, diesel, illuminating paraffin and liquid petroleum or LP gas to get through the productivity of their day. The increase was preempted by the rising of the Brent crude oil price of 3.5 weeks ago by 1,254 rands a barrel, which was as a result of the high demand created by the reopening of global economies, including the shortages of natural gas and coal in parts of Europe and Asia. This is a stark contrast to exactly a year ago's occurrence with regards to petrol and diesel, as both their prices decreased while paraffin and LP gas increased by only 20 cents per litre and 26 cents per kilogram respectively. A year before the onset of the prevailing COVID-19 epidemic and its economic lockdowns, the South African Petroleum Industry Association's or SAPIA's research showed that the fuel sector contributed around 6% of the country's GDP, while the annual sales of 27 billion litres of liquid fuels supplied about 18% of South Africa's primary energy needs. In that very year of 2018, the world experienced the downturn of the land of Venezuela's economy, who are the sixth greatest contributor of oil to the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC, through poor governance which led to a state of hyperinflation within a 5-year period and a crashing of its austerity. Instead of learning from the inefficient policies introduced by Venezuela's former president, Hugo Chavez, which were perpetuated by his incumbent president, Nicolas Maduro, South Africa itself was perpetuating a failing PetroSA circumstance which cost South African ratepayers 14.5 billion rands in losses in the 2014-15 fiscal year. Currently unfolding are mitigation efforts by US President Joe Biden, who has appealed to the OPEC cartel to increase oil production in order to stabilize prices. However, this has thus far fallen on deaf ears. It is understandable for the OPEC cartel to delay in responding to the leader of the United Nations or the UN, as the prevailing high price situation is one which is beneficial to these oil producing nations in increasing their revenues. Unlike in January 2015, when the global oil price was declining, where the Iran heavy producing then Iranian President Hassan Rouhani expeditiously rallied together with his own country, the Arab light producing Saudi Arabia, to decrease output in order to hike this commodity's demand, this month's price ascension should prompt the opposite behavior from the region. South Africa's Mineral and Petroleum Resources Development Act No. 28 of 2002's Chapter 2, Section 3, Subsection 3, clarifies the Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, Gwede Mantashe's role in creating a conducive pricing model for the South African public in that, quote, Subsection 3, the Minister must ensure the sustainable development of South Africa's mineral and petroleum resources within a framework of national environmental policy, norms and standards, while promoting economic and social development, unquote. Another point of reference which can be utilized by our government is the oil price decline of 2014, which is projected by the regulator bank Goldman Sachs, who also attributed this event to an embracing of new technologies and alternative sources of energy at various petroleum trading countries. Being the world's 12th greatest emitter of greenhouse gases, the investing into less greenhouse emitting forms of energy should be one of our country's starting points. Kevin Malhem, Member of Parliament and DA Shadow Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, is bringing forward a need to have his department revise its fuel pricing model. The miscommunications within the Transport Department, which we experienced in the month of August 2019 when State President Cyril Ramaphosa signed into law the Administrative Adjudication of Road Traffic Offences or AARTO bill, are continuing to being a feature in this department to this very day. On the instance of enacting the AARTO bill just over 2 years ago, President Ramaphosa effectively introduced a sudden increase in motorist charges by South African National Roads Agency or SANRAL 5 months after this board's contradictory announcement that they have reached a resolution of not pursuing the e-tolls debt. Currently, South Africa is awaiting an announcement from the Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana on the e-tolls future, while we already know of his favouring of the retaining of its user pay principle, which is uncooperative to Gauteng MEC for Transport Jacob Mababolo's statement in the May 2021 SAFM interview with Stephen Grootes, wherein the MEC confirmed that the e-tolls, quote, have been scrapped, unquote, including that the Gauteng residents shouldn't be further burdened by this unnecessary scheme. Since the e-tolls project's inception in 2008, it has been unprofitable and merely getting annual allocations to the tune of tens of billions of rands from Treasury without any hope of being able to generate its own revenue so as to consolidate its debts. The year 2010 saw the establishment of the Electronic Toll Collection, or ETC, in an attempt to upgrade the technology for e-tolling on Gauteng's freeways, and this resulted 8 years later in an accumulation of 12,000 cases of non-compliant motorists in court. It took our land's court of last resort in the form of the Supreme Court of Appeal in 2016 to reject the year 2014 proposals from SANRAL to construct e-tolls on the N1 wine route in the Western Cape, including certain sections of the N2. SANRAL Act No. 7 of 1998's Chapter 3, subsection 1, Section 32, gives the Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula, the exclusive legal privilege to collude with his fellow cabinet executives in steering SANRAL towards a more financially sound direction in that, quote, Section 32, subsection 1, if the agency should act contrary to the national interest or the strategic or economic interests of the Republic, the Minister, by notice in writing to the Board, may order the agency to discontinue the offending act or conduct, unquote. Minister Mbalula has been another proponent of the motion to scrap the e-tolls, just as he asserted during his budget vote speech in May this year. South African voters are expressing their total disapproval of the ruling party's principles, and we are seeing this through the suffrage process's statistics. With the recent municipal elections result indicating a downward swing of 8.32% for the ruling party of the national vote since the previous 2016 election, we are telling a total of a 16.36% decline in support of the ANC since its introduction of these disastrous e-tolls. Gauteng Premier David Makura has also been publicly condemning the e-tolls and admitted 3 years ago that the e-tolls abusing of public funds was a major reason why the ANC did so poorly in the last national and penultimate provincial elections. Mpho Phalatse, DA mayoral candidate for the COJ, is recognizing the tens of billions of rands worth of e-toll debt which has been accumulating since 2008, currently at a rate above 230 million rands every month, while severely devastating the economy, and is proposing a sudden stop to it. Thank you.